Sound is rolling.
Hold
Oh.
We're not recording.
But the sound is rolling.
Your cues are terrible.
But the sound is rolling. Sound is rolling. Can I clap now?
Sure.
Do the thing.
We got to be muted though.
But do the thing. Say the phrase.
What's the phrase?
Cue the intro.
And we're live.
Yeah.
What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray,
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
and this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. Some clippage.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And we're
Live.
And that was abrupt.
What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
So like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell.
I should have let that fade out.
I thought you had.
I usually do.
Oh, no, we were doing it on the thing. And then I would just,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah.
Things we learn when we switch from, whatever. It sounds good.
Yeah, you'll become a better audio engineer over time.
Oh, wait a minute. This one was not on me, sir. This one, we switched control. It was in the OBS doc. You wanted the visual intro. This is on visuals. What's up, y'all?
You can control it over there, though.
Oh man, good morning.
You just have
I
to
can.
turn the USB.
I realized it as you said that.
Right.
I was like, yeah.
See?
Still your fault though. What's up, y'all?
So
We back.
welcome everybody. Please hit that subscribe bell or subscribe button and the notification bell and the like button or the notification like or the subscribe. Bell.
You're definitely a new user of Meta. You're in the beta of Meta right now.
I'm not new. I do this every week.
No, I'm saying the way you've reached levels of 50
Oh, you mean the
age wise, like that's the use of Meta as Mark tries to like get the kids back on Facebook.
got it? I get it.
And it's like, but do you have to?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because you don't want your platform to die like MySpace, Black Planet, Paxed. I was gonna go through all the other names.
What were you on?
Everything.
I was just on AIM.
I was definitely on AIM, but I was in all the chat rooms.
But yeah, subscribe, like, comment, share, and slap your moms.
Whoa! Stop with the TikTok trends.
I'm not starting anything. I've had enough. Anyway, so yeah, we're back. Another week. What is this? Episode 139.
Yeah, definitely episode 139.
139, and I'm excited. Slightly. Not enough.
Why the slight?
Because it's just like
I'm focused, man.
not even. Send your comments and thoughts about the show. nrorsub@gmail.com. If I don't check it, you understand why.
And I'll answer them.
Mm-hmm.
I got you guys.
And we'll post them, and
Yes.
we'll read them. So yeah, send it in because you haven't so far. I'm ashamed.
The shade.
Yeah, I
The
shaded
shade.
everybody.
You shaded everybody.
That's fine.
And again,
They
shout
can
out.
get it together and participate.
Word out of context. But also shout out to the chat over at twitch.tv/Icarus_Gray, who gets to see all of the behind the scenes action. So shout out to you guys. If you want to see us live, go there because it's way simpler than the other setups we've tried.
Yeah. And they have no context to what we're hearing in our headphones.
Not a single bit.
Which
Sorry,
is
guys.
great.
Y'all just get to hear like all conversation, no sounds. But we'll
in the future we can just stream directly from here, but that's another day.
For another $1.
All right. First topic.
Let's do this.
So this is a hearty debate that I have with middle school kids, and I'm just telling you, that's the way it goes. And when we're having this debate, it almost comes to blows in my classroom environment. And so I wanted to pose the debate to everybody out there. If you're watching on Twitch, you can chime in on what your favorite thing is.
And definitely chime in the comments. I want to see what y'all think about this.
Right. So this is Wendy's versus McDonald's.
But not just any debate.
Right.
Between the two.
Who has the better nuggets?
This is easy. And by a landslide, it's Wendy's.
Sadly, I agree.
Like, there's sadly, what you just wanted to antagonize me?
I did.
There's no way you can.
I mean,
you can, but look.
That's why I'm here. If there's not enough
Wendy's,
hands down.
Hands down.
If there's not enough antagonization, then I have to up the antagonization level.
Who are you? Skip Payless?
No, I'm Joe Budden.
Good point. Good point.
That's
point
my
there.
role on this show. To antagonize.
But it's easy because Wendy's have always tasted like nuggets. And like it's like if the schoolhouse chicken nuggets grew up, they would grow up in the Wendy's nuggets.
Well, it's not, meat that has been sliced and food processed down to
Pink stuff.
To baby food, essentially. And so when you get the nugget, right, you have a bite to it that is real. Oh. You have that crispy outer coating.
Crispy.
Which is delicious. And if it's spicy. Great.
Also, their spicy nuggets, like I remember when they first came out, worst thing to eat and not know what you're getting yourself into. Because they are good.
Nugget. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But they went spicy. Like, so here's another debate on top of this. Because, McDonald's was never in the running for this and won. Fine. I didn't get to do my perfect run of not hitting the mic, whatever. But McDonald's was never in the running. And technically, I wish we could just immediately take McDonald's out and ask the second question, which is, who has the better spicy chicken sandwich, Wendy's or Chick-fil-A?
Interesting.
And for me, Wendy's wins again.
Yeah, they're winning.
Like,
literally.
I don't get how they fell so quiet in the middle of like the whole debate when Popeyes and Chick-fil-A were like going back and forth. I'm like,
right, with
neither one of you have the best spicy chicken sandwich.
Right.
Like Wendy's beats you hands down because it's not just spicy, it's got flavor.
Yeah, there was some news out recently that they have a crispy fry guarantee. So if your fries aren't hot, you can return them immediately. Like, just drop the mic. Right?
Oh yeah, I saw that. And like, especially here. Here, McDonald's be big trash. And that's why they can never win anywhere. They like, and I know it's because of like the work shortage due to COVID, whatever.
No,
they just big trash all day.
Yeah.
They was big trash before 2020?
Of course.
Oh, no. I was giving them a knout. Oh, man.
Now, granted, their chicken strips
McDonald's chicken strips?
are superior to their own menu.
True.
So
True.
they're competing with themselves.
But when I will say this, if the fries are cooked right, they are still number one to me in fries. Because Wendy's do too much changing. They used to be number one in fries by everybody.
I don't know about that. Rally's fries, hands down.
Oh.
The best seasoned crispy fries.
But they always mess your stomach up to me.
Not me.
Because you've been eating them since the age of
Since
one.
birth.
I was just going to say, you came out with a Rally's fry in your mouth.
Right. And I was just nibbling on it. And my mom worked there when I was a kid.
Shout out to the chat again. Wendy's meat quality is better, hands down.
Yeah.
And their breakfast is also fuego.
And allegedly, McDonald's meat is questionable.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, not allegedly. It's questionable.
I ain't got time to get sued, doc.
I still said allegedly beforehand. You know.
All right.
But so basically Wendy's in a landslide for most things.
Yeah.
Like, except for like if you go sit down somewhere.
What do you mean?
Like if you go sit down at like Waffle House or something. Like I would choose Waffle House breakfast over like Wendy's breakfast at that point.
Yeah, because they specialize in
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like specialization places are the only other contender to something you can have a conversation with.
Got it.
Except for nuggets. I still feel like Wendy's nuggets beats a lot of places.
All right.
But next topic.
So we got an abrupt topic change. This is abrupt. And this is serious. So wondering if any of our listeners or viewers have seen the Hulu show
DopeSick.
Yeah, so
It's not a rap.
it's talking about the opioid epidemic. I hate calling it an epidemic because they didn't really do that with crack and things.
Yeah. It was just a war.
And the rush to do something about said crack and everything was not as
Well, because they brought it. Like, I think here's the difference. The crack epidemic was something that they started. The opioid epidemic was also something that they started, but it was basically like a bunch of white folks that were all saying stuff. And then one guy was like, this is what this does. And he lied to him. Mm-hmm. So then they were like, whoa. We can't do this to everybody.
well. Yeah,
This is not a specialized thing.
yeah. The deal is once it's reached over to popular culture, so to speak,
Yes.
then it's a real problem. And yeah, it's not a problem otherwise.
No.
So
Because it's just like a insider trading or whatever. Like majority of the times, like that is a terrible offense in terms of what that actually means. But majority of those people end up where? Club fed.
right. So the show is called DopeSick. It's on Hulu, and
Rosario Dawson is in
it's
it.
all one word. Yes.
Rosario Dawson is in it.
All one word, and it's DopeSick to answer that question. And it's about the pharmaceutical company and family that developed OxyContin and dealing with
Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton is in it, yes. They developed the drug. They knew that they were working on something that was going to be super profitable. They knew it was going to be addictive. And they hid it from the public, and they hid it very well. Not only the public, but they hid it from the doctors that they were selling it to. And then once the problem started to rise, that's when shit hit the fan.
And I mean hit the fan like in a big way. I haven't started watching yet. I just know of it. By the way, we got a question from the chat on how far we are into it.
Well, I started watching and I'm caught up to. I believe there's 2 more episodes I need to catch to get to where we are.
But no spoilers today.
Right.
Today.
I won't be talking much about it, but ultimately, it's the Sackler family. I believe is the family that presented these pharmaceuticals. They had some dealings with other opioids in the 80s. They fast forward to the 90s. They start developing this thing, and then in the 2000s, it hit its head, and so it's a big deal, and I think what I believe about it is that it's controversial for the fact that we're in a situation where it impacts the whole, but it negates other issues within our communities.
I think at least maybe if I read this right on thing that they were working on this around 93.
Yeah, early 90s. To late 90s. Yeah,
that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Because literally, you go from the 80s in 3 years in, and you cannot tell me that the creation of this was not inspired by that, but being like, I have an idea. You get what I'm saying?
It was. I mean, that's what it was, right? They had a drug that was expiring, and they needed to create a new one to profit from, and that's just what it was. And they profit from it in a very sick and malicious type of way. So ultimately, I think I wanted to dig into this because we started talking about Mac Miller last week. We were going to bring up fentanyl and the impacts of that currently, but
we needed that from a younger perspective. So G Money is going to come in at some point one day.
Yeah. But have you dealt with any types of addictions?
No.
But
I'm not that type of person. I've never I've never had that issue. So no matter what it was, like let's see. So first time I had a drink, full transparency, was in I had like a 2, but it didn't really make a noise. Anyway, but was like a sip from my dad's beer when I was like young. I don't remember how young, but then the first time I actively went and had someone older get something for me was 10th grade.
Yeah.
And then but that was the only time I drank before drinking again at 19 maybe. And that same day that I got the drink was first day same day I smoked weed. And then maybe I smoked 15 times or whatever that year. Mm-hmm. Then I got with Kanae, stopped for another however long. But I've just never had anything. And even with the medication that I take for my liver disease that I have, nothing. But I don't seek those kind of rushes. I don't seek an adrenaline rush. I don't seek things not in their proper place, because I guess my addiction would always be gaming or the way that over sexualized images could be an addiction. Mm-hmm. I mean, but that's more the normalcy of the things around, I guess.
So I've dealt with my own illnesses, so to speak. So I have a record called Pivot where I talk about just taking pain pills in order to deal with not only just the pain of my ankle. So after my ankle surgery, I was prescribed hydrocodone. And nobody told me at the time that hydrocodone was going to be
what it was
addictive, right? And this is, I don't know, maybe 2008, 2009, somewhere around there.
Right.
Fast forward, right, the pain is still present. Other pain issues and things of that nature I was dealing with, and so I found myself in a place where I was taking them more frequently before I would go to work, and I just had no idea of how impactful they were until it just kind of started to shut my body down in some ways. So it was part stress, it was part pain mitigation, it was part like ignorance to what I was even taking and the side effects of it, because nobody took the time to even explain to me what was
How did a lot of that feel? Because you don't have an addictive personality.
I think it was just, you mean feeling as in physical, or
Like in terms of like, so they didn't explain it to you, so you start taking it. Like that moment of, did you feel a change in yourself, or was it like you just started to like this is?
There is no like progression.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There is no sort of, oh, I'm taking more of these, or it's kind of just like there's a bit of a tug, and then you go get it, and that's it.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't to the point to where I was just like stealing money or like harming other folks. But it's so blurred.
Yeah.
All together. It's like when you shade different values of from black to white.
Yeah.
Where you can clearly separate them, or you can blur them all together. It was more blurred.
Because I was gonna say, because addiction takes form in different ways. They're like, people think that because like you have to be broke and like homeless to be at a level of addicted, and it's like, no, there are so many functional people that like maintain function so that they don't lose whatever it is that they're going after.
Yeah, so I was in school, I was working full time, running my business, and everything seemed pretty normal.
Right.
That's where I was unaware of an actual problem, and I didn't even think about it until I wrote that song.
Right.
That there was even an issue. I didn't know. I was clueless, and so at that time I had no idea what was going on, and most of it was contributed to stress. When I would, so the physical effects, what I would feel when I would take it is just, it's like slightly, it's like when you're starting to get high. It's just that it feels like a bodily sort of separation, but it's only to the first degree. It's not total, I'm floating.
So that's even worse, because then that's like that comfort zone. Because if you're only hitting that first level, like a lot of us don't want to be like, if you smoked or done something before, you don't want to be outside yourself. So when you find your sweet spot,
I mean, but it's kind of like I wasn't outside myself, but I was starting to.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like it's right before, so that's still like a sweet spot, wasn't it? Because it was doing what it needed to do for handling your pain, but then it wasn't like taking you to a place to where you couldn't recognize yourself.
Right.
And that's why I said that's always a danger zone, because it's like you could look at it and probably looked at it for a long time until you wrote Pivot. Like, I mean, I'm just taking care of myself. Like pain, stop.
Yeah.
And like you're done, because like I said, you don't have an addictive personality, so it wouldn't be something that would be like noticed until your creative mind is like, hey yo, let me talk to you for a second.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is that I didn't realize that it was an actual addiction until many years later. So,
Well, go watch DopeSick, people.
yeah, go check out DopeSick on Hulu. We're not sponsored by Hulu or anything like
At
that.
all.
We should be, though.
We really should.
Talking about their original series and stuff. But
I'm trying to also read the chat, but good God, I can't see y'all.
yeah.
Oh,
Make
what
it
am I
bigger.
doing? I've tried. But I also realized that I could just use my phone.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I think it's important to go see the impacts of it, have those conversations with folks that you know are impacted, and be sure to make yourself aware of how addictive opioids or other medications, and ask questions whenever you're prescribed something, because that's super important. So,
You ready?
yeah.
Let me bring this down because that was it was about to be. Guys, it is once again time for my voice to change. It is time once again for whether or not Wordplay TJ can guess the anime plot. Clap, 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 clap.
I don't.
Fade
Why are you projecting all of your sounds?
I have no idea.
We gotta ignore the chat, otherwise the podcast is gonna be choppy. Sorry, Twitch people. I would love to respond to you in real time, but
It'll be better.
we need to come back to that in segments.
But anime plots.
Yeah.
So today, Wordplay TJ is going to dissect what he thought of the still. I'm messing all kinds up. But anyway, the name of the anime is Wolf's Rain. He has a still. He's been thinking on it. He's been thinking about what it could be about, and we're going to let him tell us.
All right. It's called what?
Wolf's Rain.
Wolf's Rain.
And he hates songs about wolves.
Sounds like a song you would put on your album.
Facts. Facts. I definitely would.
So, all right, I need to kind of absorb this image, because this isn't the first time I've seen this image, but like I'm trying to dissect it and talk at the same time. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please go check it out. If you're just listening, please go check this out on YouTube so we can so you can see what we're dealing with.
Or Google it,
Yeah.
but do both.
Just watch us. Don't
Please
Google it. Give us some watch time.
It's fun.
So Wolf's Rain. All right, so there's one dude here.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like the Fonz with a crop top. And there's another dude. He looks like he's wearing a bomber jacket, something like that. And he's about to get head smacked by another chick or dude. Is that a chick?
Yes.
And then there's somebody doing cheerleader moves up at the very top. So that's the scene.
That's the scene.
All right. So
Very well painted picture.
I would say it has something to do with wolves. They transform into wolves during the full moon, werewolf style. And this is right before they're getting ready to transform. So they're they're a pack, right?
I see what you did.
They
there.
work together. And when they're transformed into these wolves, they don't want to harm people. They don't even want to fight other creatures like vampires and such. They want to go to the diner.
The diner?
Yeah, the diner. like the sock hop, the place where, these people in leather jackets go to hang out. Because this is the main guy, right? This is the main guy here, Mr. Crop top ponytail.
Are you making this Happy Days with wolves?
Leave this alone. It is Happy Days with Wolves. I was getting there.
I didn't. Just when you said sock hop, I'm like, who are you?
I was getting there, right? It's Happy Days with Wolves. Spoiler alert. Jeez. And so, Fonz, let's call him Fonz Wolf. Fonz Wolf.
Oh my God.
Meets up with Bomber Guy and Hoodie Girl and Pom Pom Dude, and they transform into their wolves. They go to the diner, the sock hop. They get their burgers and their shakes, and they dance to the jukebox. And then when the moon is gone, they transform back, and they go home. It's every episode.
The funny part is, for how you started, you get a.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
For how you started. For how you ended.
Good luck with that, bruh.
So, here is the actual plot. Because the beginning of what you said was perfectly in line. These people obviously turn into wolves, but the series is way more mysterious than that. It's actually a really, really sad series. But according to an old legend, when the end of the world comes, a place known as paradise will appear. However, only wolves will know how to find it. Although wolves are believed to have been hunted to extinction nearly 200 years ago. They still exist, surviving by casting illusions over themselves to make them appear human. So it's not even, they're just wolves.
See? But they want to be the humans that go get Sonic.
Okay, sorry, y'all. I don't
Do
know
they
why
have
that
roller
Herschel laugh, that old laugh came out.
Do they get roller skates?
No. And the actual main guy is not Crop Top Fonz.
It's Fonz Wolf.
Fonz
Right.
Wolf. Fonz Wolf. It's a Bomber Guy.
Bomber Guy?
Yeah, Bomber Guy is the main guy.
Wait a minute. So this is his name?
No.
Oh. Oh, okay.
What's funny is his name is Kiba.
Okay.
Like, which is literally just wolf.
I'm going to call him Bomber Guy.
I'm good with that.
All right.
And so the four of them just start looking for this paradise place. But they cast these illusions over people because wolves in this world have been extinct for, like I said, like the past 200 years.
Yeah.
And it's really freaking sad. But I knew it was one of those that, like, I didn't think you would get that close. Because when you started, bruh, you were creating this plot. Like, you're really good at this. And I have picked ones that, like, the names would have given them away. At least the last two kind of would have given away. Because you at least had a base point.
It's not Wolf Fonz?
It's not Wolf Fonz.
Okay.
What is his name? It doesn't matter. Because if you want all that's a whole nother podcast. But anyway,
It's
good.
your podcast.
Yes, the Gray Area Anime Podcast, which eventually we're gonna do a cross episode, because I want to like do a whole episode of anime plots and like one serious topic because we cannot go without a serious topic because listen, it's too much going on in the world. But I was very pleased with that because you literally started with such a good description. Like it was almost like you were writing it, but you're a writer. So, because when you started with like, they don't want to harm people, they don't, because people don't even believe that they exist because they're able to cast these illusions over people in and of themselves. Like dogs are there, which is also another weird thing. Like I feel like people will never let dogs not exist. We just love our dogs that much.
Yeah. So why? I guess I don't know that I would watch this.
No,
I wouldn't, and I wouldn't
definitely not
watch
one
it.
you will watch.
I wouldn't watch it because they don't go to the sock hop. They don't do any dances. They don't hit the jukebox. You know, get it started.
I'm not looking at you.
There's no clocks
Not
in the
looking at
intro.
you. Nope. Nope, not doing it.
It's just not. It doesn't seem like something that would work.
That's how you feel right now.
Yeah.
About it.
All right.
But no, this is definitely not one, not even for your taste. Because this is one of those like existential animes that literally there's no satisfaction other than the fact that you have questions. You're just kind of left with like this. It's about the
like,
journey, like it's this artistic thing.
Burgers? Do they have roller skates?
You know what's funny is, no, they do eat at different places. I feel like
Restaurants.
I feel like there's a burger eaten somewhere. So I feel like you at least get that.
Diners.
No diners.
Fast food eateries. All right,
Charcuterie boards.
I've beaten this.
Dead horse.
What? I don't want to beat horses. What's wrong with you?
Oh, sorry. That's the phrase. I mean, they get turned into glue all the time.
Oh, that's nasty. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's what that was. Cue the music, I guess. I did a terrible job.
Thank you guys for joining us again for whether or not wordplay TJ can guess the anime plot. We'll see you next week with another one as we go back to our content.
Yes. So next story is about my arch enemy, Spotify.
Trifling ass Spotify.
Yeah. So this story comes according to Far Out Magazine. It's not the main place that I read the story, but it's here. So streaming giants Spotify, Amazon, Pandora are amongst services that reportedly filed requests to the U.S. Copyright Royalty Board. These are the people that set the rates for royalties. Currently, the rate is at 15.1% of the streaming company's revenue, and they're trying to lower it. That rate is going to be set from, I believe, 2023. Well, no. It's from now until 2023. They're trying to set the rates from 2023 until 2027. And it reports that Spotify and Amazon are requesting 10.5%, which is
a 5%
yeah.
decrease.
Yeah, so they're trying to decrease it by nearly 5%.
Mind you, let's put this into full frame. This 15%, they're talking fractions of pennies.
Yeah. So the 15%, right, is an equation, right? Because they deal with billions of dollars in revenue, and I talk about this on the Music Advice show. So if you want to check that out every week. We're gonna go live.
You're already here anyway. Why don't you stay for another video?
Once this is out, you'll miss the live, but we'll try to go live a different time and talk about that. But ultimately, I talk about this a lot on my channel, and what I bring up is that if Spotify makes 1 billion, then 15% of that would be what, 150 million or so, I believe. And based off of that, they are that 150 million or so gets broken down between every stream that happens on the platform, right? So you have to do that multiplier effect, and there's right now billions and billions, if not trillions, of streams currently. So that divisor is going to be knowingly less than a penny, usually about 0.003 cents on the dollar.
And that's for a like an accumulated amount of streams.
Yeah, that's for 30 seconds at least, and that doesn't mean that's on the U.S. only. So if you get streams from other places, that rate could be lower.
So, I mean, we talk about this a lot with just their scumbag policies that don't make sense. We allow so many companies to not understand who they are outside of being, money grubbing people. They've created systems off the backs of artists. You do not get your billions of dollars without the artist. Like, you can say you're still a middleman. And even middlemen do not get the biggest percentage of the cut like what y'all do.
Yeah.
And it's so disrespectful because at the end of the day, we're talking about $150 million, right?
Right.
And with that $150 million that you barely want to get out, you're still making billions.
Yeah, so it's only a slight percentage of their revenue and their overhead. Can you mute me for just a second?
Yeah.
Adjust this.
And it's frustrating from so many different perspectives that I speak at ad nauseum here, but you kind of wonder why, and I get it. There's not a lot of people. This doesn't affect the huge artists because they got their shows. They have other ways of getting revenue. And at the end of the day, it only affects, to me, those independents trying to make a way.
Yeah, and so here's the issue is that there are people advocating for higher rates, right? It's the National Publishers Association and Publisher and Music, I don't know, something association. Anyway,
Right.
And they're advocating for higher rates, right? So this is a response to negotiations, right? So in negotiations, they're trying to push the rates to 20%, and Spotify and other places have gone in the opposite direction. When it comes to independent artists, though, you have to get streams in order to get paid, and if you don't get those streams, then you're not going to get paid. And because it's an equation that deals with a divisor based off of the number of streams that you accumulate, the more streams you have, oftentimes the more compensation you have. So say, for example, somebody like Drake, who we're going to talk about later, gets 1 billion streams. Like, he's in the top percentage of folks that are in that kind of divisor category. So if you have the total number of streams divided by Drake's billions, right, he's going to be a big percentage of that, at least 1 to 2%, if not most of that. So that means that out of that, let's just say mathematically, if he's 1% of that, that means that 10% that they want to pay, or that 15% that they have to pay now, Drake gets 1% of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
mathematically. And
like
everybody else,
they're paying him out $1 million,
right? And everybody else gets 14. The other 14.
Yeah, but even with that, like everybody else. So if you're talking about major artists that are getting like 1 billion streams, you got Drake, you got Chris Brown, Kanye, you got
anybody that's A-list.
Anybody that's getting $1 million. So if you break that down, that's like what, 30 to 40 artists?
Well,
maybe more.
It's probably more than that, but definitely there's a top tier.
Yeah.
Right? The people at the top percentage of the game, and this is not hate, this is not shade, this is nothing malice against those people, because they're successful for a reason. It's for the sake of saying that if you're on this lower tier and you don't have the money to
publicize or put yourself like in a Macy's or wherever, so that way you can get your streams up, then you're not going to be in that top percentile. So you're not even talking about 1 million. You're talking about 1,000, 100, 200, 300, maybe 500 that could possibly help you to fund and put money back into your business to get to other places. The craziest part about all of this is their numbers went up last year.
Well, the thing is with independent artists is that you have to dig yourself out of a hole, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. And the unfortunate part of it is that you're at the bottom of this hole. You have your shovel, and you have to somehow fill it with dirt in order to even break even. And there's nobody supplying you with the dirt. And
then they just want to take more of what they want to take the dirt you already have.
Right. And that's my point, is that there are way more people impacted in a negative way than in a positive way by a 10% or a 5% drop.
And the problem with it is, and this has been an American problem, we do not value people.
We don't value artists.
I mean, I'm just bringing it out to people because at the end of the day, what happens is, so like with slavery or whatever, right? Just to use it as the easiest example. Before we ever got to cotton, the people industry was like 4 billion, and that's 4 billion in that time frame, in that time period. Now, even with the artists, like that billion is the music, is the artist, is the person. It's not Spotify, the company. Like, yeah, you made it easier for me to find the thing that I already search for, that I already desire, that I already am invested in. We're all invested in music on some level, whether, even if it's deaf and it's feeling the vibration. We all have a connection to this. It's not something that, you might wake up and sing a song or tap out a song. Music just exists around us in that place. And I don't like this monopolization of something that isn't theirs to begin with.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that they're responding to what the consumer is and what business is. So they're playing on both sides of the coin, and artists are kind of stuck in the middle here.
Right.
And we have to give the consumers what they want or deliver it to them in a way that they can actually get it. So we're stuck. Otherwise, I mean, we have options, right? We can just sell on Bandcamp and be okay. But that's a harder hill to climb. It's a much steeper hill to climb.
Especially because, again, like, I'm not saying that the systems that they made aren't important. It's essentially like the cotton gin, right?
What about it?
Well, how it revolutionized.
Yeah, it's technology.
It's the technology that revolutionized. But the crop itself is still more important than the cotton gin.
Right.
Because if without it, you don't get that. You don't get the clothes. You don't get this. You don't get, like, the source material of something doesn't deteriorate because you get something that makes things easier.
Yeah.
But we do that so often, whether it's, cars and the instant devaluation of things once you leave out of a store. We just keep removing the essence, the soul of things, the person. And I also don't understand, are they like losing money?
I mean, so here's the deal. I've done an analysis on Spotify and other places, that type of thing.
Right.
Revenue wise, I'm drawing a blank on some of the numbers because I read their annual report almost every year. I cannot remember, and so don't quote me. I believe they're definitely profitable.
Anytime somebody says "don't quote me," all I hear is "easy" in my head.
But ultimately they're profitable, right? They can pay their bills.
Did you do any research like on last year on like their numbers had to have gone up?
Well, you mean revenue rise?
Yeah.
That's the year I'm referring.
That's what I was saying. Like, cause we did the thing on that. Cause like, not only did they go up, it was older artists as well as, the newer artists were still doing what they were doing, but older artists were getting more play from playlists and stuff.
Oh, that's not even what I'm referring to. I'm referring to like their literal expense report, like their P&L, their entire profit loss statement is public because they're a publicly traded company,
Right?
And so every year I analyze those numbers just to see what's up, and from my memory, they're profitable.
So
but
I
even
just
if they're
don't
not
understand.
profitable, they're still able to pay their bills.
I just don't understand. I mean, outside of like, is it just greed? Like, do you think that this is just a greed play, or is there something that the industry sees that we're missing? Like, because I don't want to just always seem that I'm being like down on them for doing this.
It's business.
Okay.
It's business. Keep your overhead low, right? So you don't go out of business.
Okay.
So you can stay competitive. But at the same time, that this cuts in the face because they could afford some other options if they just stop buying other companies or paying their executives so much, right? They could just reduce their expenses in order to cover how much it costs to pay artists. And so that's why they're looking into podcasts and other audio.
That was going to be my
functions.
next question. I was just about to ask, how do podcasts play into that? Like,
It's watering the pool because there's no law that says you have to pay a podcaster a certain amount to get their content.
and yeah, Joe Budden talks about that because that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
Because they saw the numbers that they increased in terms of viewership, and that's like it's even slimier in podcast land in terms of how I feel about these folks.
Right, because there's no regulation, right? There's no
Zero.
There's no laws about podcasts.
Do you think that's the reason? Maybe. I mean, outside of like the business setup, do you think that any podcast regulations or anything is coming? I feel like it is, because I don't feel like people like Joe Budden, Joe Rogan, and the rest are like, even with the fact that he went there from Sirius or whatever, to get the Spotify deal. Jamel Hill, I believe, does some things over there as well. In terms of huge podcast content creators. But I think that there has to be a shift coming because there's such an onslaught of, new podcasters, right?
Yeah, well, that is part of the plan, but you have to think about it from the point of view of content.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So if you don't separate music and podcasts as separate pieces of media, but just media in general, it starts to make sense. Right. They want to put as much media in front of people's faces so they don't leave Spotify.
Okay. Oh, like the YouTube algorithms,
Right.
like we don't want you to leave.
So eventually they're going to have video content on there too.
That makes sense. The next question about the podcast and stuff, right? So in the context of how we create podcasts, right? Is it not closely related to music?
The way we create it?
I mean, well, just in the
in
consumption, right?
Intellectual, it's intellectual property. The consumption's not the same because you're talking minutes versus sometimes hours, right? So that on average,
Right. But the retention, like, is it not like, okay?
You mean how it responds to the algorithm?
Kind of, but like, okay, so I look at the YouTube algorithms, right? So in terms of like retention and everything else, you're getting paid for a certain amount of viewers. You're getting paid for the likes. In terms of how, well, you're not getting paid for the likes, but the algorithm boosts you up from likes and everything of that nature. But at the same time, if your retention time isn't at a certain percentage, you're not getting certain payouts, right?
It depends, right? Like it's too variable to say.
Okay.
Right. And podcasters for most podcasters on Spotify aren't being paid anything. So it really doesn't matter.
Okay.
At this point, as far as YouTube is concerned, watch time is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Retention is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Staying on the platform is a big deal, and actually interacting with the advertisement.
Okay.
So if you don't, it's so many variables that you have to continue to like divide.
Yeah. So I just try to break it down from that aspect of it, because I don't want to continuously come on here and just seem like I'm like F them, because I want to be more educated on the fact that it's not just about that, because if I don't understand the cause and the reason of why they're doing this and where we're headed, then you just kind of get swept up in emotions.
Well, they claim that they want to make it better for people to get paid, and it is improving for some percentages. But that's the episode that you're referring to, where I analyze the fact that yes, it's getting better for some percentages, but there's still a great disparity between the haves and the haves not. So like there's a gap there, and
I got one more question on this,
not closing
and then we can
fast enough
wrap
without
up.
That gap's not closing fast enough without a different increment at what they're paying people.
My next question:
there needs to be a different monetary compensation rate.
What do you think that would be? Because right now we end up talking like a penny would be like the best.
At least
just add a penny would solve a lot of things.
It would be very different.
Now, is it a penny per 30 seconds or just make it simple? I guess
per stream at 30 seconds, right? So 30 seconds is the qualifier currently. We can raise if like I wouldn't be mad if they raise that qualifier where you have to listen for a minute in order to get that penny.
And it's not per minute. It's just like, so if I listen to Harvest Moon, which is like 2 minutes, if you stay on for a minute, I get a penny for that stream, that cycle.
Right, that single cycle, yes.
Okay.
And if you put it on repeat, you get paid for that.
Then 100 streams, $1.
Right.
1,000, 10.
Right.
You know, like it. I think.
It's easy.
Do you think it's more feasible for them to do that? Is it a feasible action, or does that put businesses in a place where they can,
But businesses have to do what businesses do and downsize.
Okay.
They have to just do less.
Okay.
With their overhead. That's the thing, is that they're making other people sacrifice when they can make the sacrifices.
True.
And that's not always fair to the workforce, right? Because they do employ people. It's really, really important that people maintain their jobs. But I'd argue that they could do more with less if they paid their CEO less, even. Like that could make up for that.
Would it constitute to give them less and give more to the workers without cutting the workers? Or
I wouldn't say cut your employees.
Okay.
I would say cut the highest paid.
Overhead. Whenever I think overhead, because majority of the time when people start talking about overhead in business, they start cutting us. Mm-hmm. So that's why I immediately associated that instead of thinking it as but instead of thinking it as the construct of overhead can start with salaries of everyone or salaries of our highest paid people,
right? Which
is a better way of looking at it, but it's not how people look at it. So
it's not. And the highest paid people want to maintain their salary or raise it. So right. it just is what it is when the companies are this big. And granted, like when I think about the problem or the solution of creating a streaming service, it's not easy, right? Mentally, it's exhausting to just think about what goes into all of that and the people that you have to put in place to do it.
We'll have to do this offer because I got so many different mechanical questions, because it just kind of sparked so many different discussions. And I'm glad we're having this discussion in a different way than we've had before, and attacking it in a way of trying to see as many angles as possible. Because majority of the time, like I said, it's really just forget them, because there is so much disrespect to the artists. There's always been disrespect to artists. Like, we literally just got to the fraction of a penny, because there was a time where we weren't even getting that from the streaming places. They were like,
we just got a major pay raise.
Yeah, like it was just like, come here and this will get you exposure to do other things.
And the Music Modernization Act also got us a pay raise, because we can now access our unclaimed royalties in a different way as well. So I don't want to beat the subject up. It's just not. It's not worth it to get worked up about it.
Yeah.
It's just important that some change is needed, and I'll probably talk about this on the live stream later today, where there needs to be a union.
I'll be in the chat.
Put in place.
But anyway,
so
that's more than enough extra. If you guys are good with this content, consider joining us over at Patreon. You have the Underdog tryouts, only for the Underdogs, Underdog Upgrade, Underdog Ultra, and the Underdog exclusive packages that all give you different things and more exclusive content. You will get an overtime episode every month, one that we will be recording today. So this will be the end for the audio portion for those of you who want that, but come over and join us. I guarantee you it's something that you'll want to check out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
All right. 1 and a 2, and peace.